Hello, everyone. Happy New Year, and welcome to Africa Fire Mission's weekly virtual training session. My name's Mike. I'm a project coordinator here with Africa Fire Mission, and we're so happy you guys took time out of your busy schedules to come and join us for this week's training. This week, we're joined by Nancy Moore. She's a co-founder and executive director of Africa Fire Mission, and she's here today to share some updates about what's going on with AFM and how to utilize all the different resources that we have available for you guys for training and other purposes. If you stick around for at least 70% of today's training, which is usually about 40 or 45 minutes, we're going to issue you a certificate of attendance for today's training. We'll provide a link in the chat where you can get some more resources and things like that that are available. I'm sure Nancy's going to talk about that during today's presentation. Feel free to introduce yourselves into the group chat. Let us know who you are and where you're from. And I think without further ado, I'm going to step to the side here and let Nancy take it. Go ahead, Nancy.
All right. Thank you. Welcome, everyone, and Happy New Year. It's great to be with you. Last year was not able to join these trainings very often, but I have definitely been following the trainings and looking forward to seeing just the tremendous growth continue for the trainings that we had last year. Usually start the year off a little slow in terms of attendance, and it always builds. So remember to just invite your friends, fellow firefighters to join us. Remind them that there is a new link this year as we get started. So I just wanted to start as we come into the new year. Yesterday, Dave, my husband and the founder of Africa Fire Mission, was pouting a little bit. He was a little sad, and he was sad because it was already the new year and he hadn't had a fire call yet. And sometimes it can be like that. Sometimes we can be anxious for the next call to come in and looking forward to it. And then sometimes we might feel dread. We had another team member from AFM share that recently someone in his community there had been a call, and someone that they knew and loved that was close to them in their small community unfortunately died. And as we think about your work, as I think about your work responding to the communities that you serve, your experience might be either of those two: anxious for that next call or extremely sad because of the call that you went on. And Africa Fire Mission really wants to be able to support you in all of those things, to help you respond in the best way possible when you do have a call, and to help you be able to know what to do when you're having a bad day, when it's been a tough run. So thank you for your dedication to training. Thank you for being here. We recognize that when you join our trainings, you're sacrificing something to come. You're sacrificing your time, you're sacrificing your resources, and we appreciate that and applaud you for your dedication to your craft as fire and emergency responders. So today, what we're going to do, as Mike said, is this is really going to be a time where I'm hoping to answer some questions for you about AFM, help you get to know us a little bit better as an organization, and also help you know what resources you can access from us. Today, I really hope you will ask a lot of questions, either utilizing the chat or utilizing your voice and just saying hello and asking questions. So feel free to raise your hand, ask a question. I see Moses has already got one. I'll get you in just a couple moments, Moses. But welcome and thank you. So let me just do a few pieces of introduction before we get into some questions. so I can just give you a little foundation about AFM and a little bit about what we're about and why we're here. So Africa Fire Mission's mission is to increase the sustainable capacity of communities in the fire service in Africa. And really we've even expanded that now toward emergency responders in general. We've and especially fire and EMS. So we have kind of 5 pillars that we work from. And those are, you can see all of these on our website, africafiremission.org. And I'm actually, everything I'm going to share with you today is directly on our website. So I want you to be able to see and to navigate that as you'd like. So we focus a lot on community risk reduction, training for firefighters, and training for the community directly. We have a lot of resources for that I'll share with you later. But one of our most exciting newer resources is our Tochi and Jose Fire Prevention Show. And we're working on building out some resources for that. Right now, that show is in Kenya and primarily, but we also have it on YouTube. And it is a great resource for sharing fire safety tips. And we have 8 more episodes that should be coming out in the next 8 weeks. So really looking forward to that. We really encourage you to get out into your communities to share community safety, fire safety with your communities. And what we have found is that increases your safety as a firefighter. When the community is on your side, when they're working with you instead of against you, what we have found is it increases firefighter safety, and it also helps to increase the community's calls to you so that you are able to respond more quickly to the fires. So we'll talk some more about that. I'll show you some resources on that. Firefighter training. So skills training and trainings like this that are intended to build your capacity as a firefighter. We have focus on that. We're looking at increasing some of our first aid and EMS type trainings this year. That's coming, but our focus has generally been, and we will continue for our primary focus to be on firefighter training. And as we do that, also looking at not just book learning. You know, sometimes it can be real easy to learn head knowledge for firefighters, but what we have learned and what we've seen across the world in developed fire departments is we have to have the hands-on skills-based training to really be effective in those jobs. And so want to, as you're going through our online training, which obviously can't be hands-on, I really want to encourage you to consider how you can take those trainings out, how you can use your hands and your brains and your muscles together to apply what you're learning in those trainings. Our third pillar, and I'll show you some additional resources for that as well today. Our third pillar is leadership development and legislative advocacy. In the countries where we're able to work face-to-face, we've been able to have a lot more work and continue to grow in our leadership development and the advocacy with legislators, with the bosses and the bosses' bosses. I think about the fire chiefs, and really looking beyond that. So often what we are finding is it's the elected officials that don't understand how the fire department works, why things cost what they do, what the needs are really for the fire department to be able to respond effectively. And so we want to be able to put tools in the hands of you so that you can put tools in the hands of your leadership and that your leadership can put tools and advocate with their leadership. So we really see this as both a top-down and bottom-up approach when we're looking at leadership. Next, our next pillar is fire service leadership and development. I'm sorry, fire service development and creation. And that's really about supporting what countries are looking to do with their fire service, or what cities or counties are looking at, or municipalities. We want to be able to support what's there. I remember several years ago in Kenya, we were with the fire department, and they had decided to take a building. It was not a fire station. It was not intended to be a fire station, but it had been abandoned. It was owned by the city or the county, and they decided to make that a fire station. And they did that in several places. And I remember being shown around that place, and it was a start. It was the beginning. And they didn't have everything that they needed. They didn't have, even somewhere for the fire department firefighters to sleep. But they did have the ability to respond from that place and to be together as firefighters. Now that same community has a proper fire station that the firefighters are able to respond from. And it started because they did something. They didn't just wait. They didn't wait for all the proper tools, but they started with what they had and went forward. And that's something that we have seen really work in communities, and want to encourage in places where maybe the fire service isn't as developed. And then finally, technology and innovation advancement. AFM really tries to work with people that are innovating. We know that some of the resources and tools that are available in the United States and in Europe might not be the same tools that you need. Or there may be tools that we're not using because of the traditions of the fire service, that in your place and developing places, that technology might be better accepted. And so we want to really help advance that innovation and come alongside of the innovators. So the manufacturers, the researchers, we want to be working with them. And in many cases, we are. So right now we have a project in Kenya, for example, where we're working with Google on a project on wildfires. And the hope is that is tested, that the technology that they're using will then be able to advance into other places in Africa and be utilized. And so AFM is really coming alongside that project to help support introductions and to help support that technology advancement. So I want to stop there for a moment. I see a couple things in the chat. Looks like just more introductions. It's great to see so many countries represented today. We have Zambia and South Africa, Malawi. I saw someone from Nepal, and I believe I saw Zimbabwe. So thank you all for being here. It's great to see you all today. Keep asking questions. So I'm going to pause to see if anyone would like to ask a question. You can unmute yourself if you'd like. And there we have Kenya represented. Happy New Year to you as well. Any questions so far about AFM or kind of who we are as an organization? Okay. So one of the things that as we're looking and doing this work, we kind of have four main things that we talk about in our model. And those are training, empowerment, support, and encouragement. If you've been around these online trainings for a while, you've probably noticed that AFM is a little different than some other organizations that are working with emergency services in Africa. AFM's focus is really about the training and empowerment piece. We don't do a lot with donations. We do some, but our focus is more on what is it that you really need and what are the steps you can take to get there. And what we have found is empowerment is such a stronger model for long-term success in the fire service and in developing communities in general. So that's a little bit about our model. We do, when we're working in communities, I regularly get questions about, well, when will you come to my place? When will you come to work here? And we are a small organization. We are currently doing work actively in Kenya, Malawi, Nigeria. We're hoping to be back into Zambia soon. We're working with some leadership there toward that. We've also done some work with in Sierra Leone. Sorry, took me a second here. A little foggy. It's morning for me still. We've done some consulting work in Sierra Leone and in Ghana and in Ethiopia. We are also working on a consulting project right now in Rwanda and hope to see that continue to expand as well. When we work in a country, we need a couple of different partners. We need a community-based organization. Usually that's a mission organization or faith-based organization that we're working with. And then we also need the fire service to be ready and prepared to come alongside and do some work. So I think I saw Lawrence here as we work in Malawi. It is really taken the Malawi Fire Service being willing to come alongside and do work. Many of you might have seen the symposium that we are part of in Kenya. I see Errol here today and Richard. Those two guys were part of planning that symposium, along with some others that I see here. I see Dennis here as well. It's good to see you all. So know that part of us coming is your involvement. Those that are participating in the training, those that are advocates, are really part of that work and part of Africa Fire Mission working face-to-face in communities. So I see a couple other questions. I'm going to go a little farther before I go into those, but I see those questions there. What I'd like to do before I go into some of those questions is to share with you a few of the resources that are available from AFM and how those fit into those pillars that I shared. So let me go back into, whoops. Uh-oh, hang on. Let me find where you all went so I can. I had a lot of empathy today for technology problems. Today was my day that technology failed me. Thankfully, I was able to recover, but working from a different device than normal. So bear with me just one moment. There we go. Okay. So give me a thumbs up in the chat if you have been on our website before. And I have lost our website. There we go. My goodness. All right, I see some thumbs up. Give me just a second. Mm, Mike, would you mind actually sharing the website? Yeah,
Yep. Give me just a moment here.
no problem. I am massively having problems. I see some thumbs ups there. Love it. So if you haven't been on our website before, I really want to encourage you to explore there, especially under the resources tab. Um, and Mike's going to take us there in just a moment. It's africafiremission.org. You can find it by just searching for Africa Fire Mission. Thank you, Mike. And what I want for you to do is to especially focus on that resources tab. So if you see at the top there, the word resources, there's training materials there, there's curriculum there, a blog and white paper. So we're going to look at each one of those things. So first we'll go to training materials. Some of you might have gone to this space to register for today's training. The registration link is always here for the weekly trainings. And just as a reminder with that, you're registered now. So all you need to do each week is go to your email and pull up the email that you received when you registered, or the email that Mike sends out as a reminder of your registration each week. And you'll be able to click on that link and join. If for some reason you did not get an email to join today, please make sure that you enter your email correctly so that you're getting that. But you don't need to re-register or use a different email address each week. You can use the same registration link each week to join the class for 2024. 2025, we will reset that link again. So you can register, send your friends here to register as well. And then you'll see that little plus sign. You can click there under online trainings, and you'll see the links for the online trainings. If you miss a class, you can go back and follow that link to the training. After the trainings are over, usually within a week, most of the time a lot sooner than that, the training that you missed will be posted there, or maybe you want to share that training with someone else for them to also go through the training. You can do that. At this point, we've taken down our 2022 and 2021 trainings so that we're staying relevant and staying active. But older trainings are still available on our YouTube channel, and you can go there as well. But any of the trainings that you see here under the online training, you can take after the fact and receive a certificate of attendance for completing that training. When you go to this link, you'll be in a Google Drive, select the training that you want, and then you'll be able to answer a few questions after you've watched the training and looked at the materials. And that will then send us a notification that you've completed the training. And in a week or two, we will get you your certificate of attendance. Then we have on the same page, you can actually access this from the top link, but from here, you can also go to our firefighter blog. And Mike, if you want to actually just go ahead and go there. Thank you. We're writing articles, as you can see, almost monthly, sometimes 2 or 3 times a month for you. And these are posted here. We also work to post them on the WhatsApp groups, if you're in a WhatsApp group that AFM posts to, and then also on our firefighter networking group. So the articles are written by AFM instructors and also African firefighters and EMTs. So you'll see there's actually this October 15th article and the September 30th article are written by 2 volunteers in Kenya. You'll see we've got really great article and also a training I'd encourage you to attend are the blog posts on the Exit Project. Some really great opportunities for vehicle extrication, kind of changing the mindset of what to do with vehicle accidents. And it's research based by a researcher in the UK and some just really great information. So I encourage you to check out come to this page once a month or so, or watch for the articles as we post them on our various social media groups. So speaking of that, Mike, if you'll go back to that training page. You'll see here a link to our networking group. And that is a Facebook group. And that Facebook group is, you'll have like 3 questions to answer. I don't let people in if they don't answer the questions, because we really want to keep this fire service focused. And we do moderate this group. But if you're on Facebook, I encourage you to join the networking group. I'd love a thumbs up if you've joined the networking group. Let us know in the chat or just with the emojis there on the side. That is another great resource. We share a bunch of training materials there. And Mike just dropped that link in the chat here as well. The resources on that Facebook networking group are really great. Last week, I posted from firehero.org an opportunity for training from them that's free online training with certificates. Also posted a link last week from Lion Apparel, which is one of the manufacturers of firefighter PPE. And they are offering training on care of your personal protective equipment. Great opportunity for training. You do have to register for those. Some of them, you just kind of have to be patient as you look for the directions of how to get signed up. But great training resources that are available there. Thanks for the thumbs up. Excellent. How about a thumbs up if you've looked or read one of our firefighter blogs? Right, so some opportunities, maybe some resources you're not available with. I'll also work on making sure Mike knows when we post those so we can post a link in the trainings to new resources that are there for the blog. Some of you might have attended some of our face-to-face trainings. This is also a place you can go to get a link to those face-to-face trainings here at the bottom of this training page. So the rest of this, what I'd like to do next is to go up to the fire prevention tab, or link, fire safety curriculum, sorry. And many of you have seen or heard of some of our materials here. This is where you can get all of the lessons, fire safety tips. You can access kind of why we train the way that we do under what is CHE. And if you're going out into your communities, I'm not going to train you on this curriculum today. I just want you to see that it's here. But if you utilize these resources, they're, and we have several trainings where we've explained how to use these before that you can access. But what we'd love to know is if you are going out into your communities, if you are going to talk with your communities and share about the fire service and about what people can do to be safe in a fire, we'd love for you to report that to us. And we're actually in the process right now of I was looking at the chat. I see some folks looking for links. We'll post those here in just a moment. But but would love for you to report your data. And when you report your data at the end of the year, and so like right now I'm working on 2023 data, we'll send you a report of the trainings that you completed. And if it's for an organization or for your fire department, we really hope that you'll be able to utilize that to share with your community what you're doing and how you are reaching out to them. Mike, if you could scroll down there for just a moment. So you'll see we have those lessons in several different languages. We have them in French, Portuguese, and also in Swahili. We are always looking for folks that are interested in volunteering to do translation into local languages. So please let us know if you're interested in translating curriculum. We'd be happy to receive that, work with you to get that done. And then you can report your trainings with that data page. And if you'll just click on that for a second, Mike, and what this does is we hope that it helps you. It also helps AFM as we work with funders to support our trainings and especially our fire prevention trainings. This really helps us a lot. And we report this with our annual data. So you'll see it's a pretty easy form. You just enter your name, your email address, a phone number, the start and end date of the training. Usually that's the same day, where the country where the training took place, and then the county or city where it took place, who you trained, and a little bit about them, the total number of participants, if they were children or adults, male or female. Estimating that is okay. If you're not sure what that ratio was, go ahead and take a guess at that. And then finally, the lessons that you taught. If there were other lessons that you taught, you can include those in that description. And then we just have one question related to if you feel like the confidence in fire and emergency services was improved. So you can submit that. For those of you, I know we've got some EMTs on here. There is a link where you can report first aid and CPR training here also. So really encourage you to do that. Yeah, if you'll go back to that fire safety curriculum link. So you'll see there's lots and lots and lots of resources. One other one that I want to point out, if we go back up, Mike, you'll see that there's some lessons and activities specifically for children. You'll just click on that plus sign under children activities. You'll see there's a coloring book and also a fire helmet activity that utilizes just a round piece of paper or a plate, a paper plate that you can use. So those can be fun, kind of fun if you're going into schools. And then also, we are working on some coloring pages tied to Tochi and Jose and that fire safety show, and that will be presented here as well. So, okay, we're going to go back up to the top, back to that resources tab. So again, you can find all of this at africafiremission.org. Once you're at africafiremission.org, you'll see this either on the side of your screen or at the top like it is for Mike. And you can go down and select the training materials, the fire safety curriculum, the blog. And then the last one I want to point out here are the white papers. Right now, we only have one posted, but more are coming. We have two that are currently in draft format that we're working on. And our goal with these, Mike, if you'll click on the breathing apparatus one for me. Our goal with these are for these to be resources that you can present to your leadership. So what we found is a lot of times firefighters and fire chiefs have understood what the needs are in their fire department, but they haven't known how to explain it well, or had backup for what it is that they actually need and why they need it. So this has been part of our help with that. Our hope is to help with that, by explaining some things. So if we, this is just an executive summary that you see here, but we can click on the full white paper. And that's going to open up a document for us that you can then download and print. And what this does is it takes you through what the need is. It's going to talk about what are the components of appropriate breathing apparatus. This particular one is going to talk about the compressor as well, and what needs to be in place with the compressor. It's going to talk about testing and also training. So great resource to really be able to help support your programs and developing programs with various equipment that you might need. We'll also have some white papers on training and the importance of hands-on training, some things like that. So we'll make sure to get that information out to you when we put these new ones out. Our next one is on PPE, and then we also have one coming out on firefighter mental health. And our goal is to get one of these out every, at least once a year. Our hope is really to get it every 6 months. And so we're working toward that. You can see this one was published in March of last year. So please feel free to utilize that. We can go back to the website. So again, you can download this directly from the website, and then share that broadly with folks. All right. I think I'm going to stop there for now. There's probably some pieces that I missed, but we can stop screen share. And I'm going to go and look at our questions here. I saw a few questions related to training, some other things. Let me start. All right, great. And so one of the questions that we have, hi James, good to see you here today, is about swiftwater rescue training. And actually, I know, James, if I'm remembering correctly, you're an instructor in swiftwater rescue as well. And we recently have connected with an instructor in Mombasa in swiftwater rescue. So we're really hoping this year to be able to further address this topic. We've needed a couple of things. Local instructors have been really key and important to being able to identify some instructors with that. And also, obviously, that is a training where we would need to be in country to be able to support that training. So we are looking at some possibilities for swiftwater rescue training this year. It's definitely been ignored. We agree. And we've seen, especially this year, we've seen a lot of flooding issues where firefighters and emergency responders have been at risk because of the flood dangers. And we want you to be able to respond well and safely. So that is something that we are looking at and exploring for 2024. I see a request for some equipment that is not a piece of equipment that we currently or regularly have access to, but it's certainly something that we could help explore what possibilities might be for obtaining that kind of equipment, a dosimeter. And then I think I saw one other question with regard to the links. So that first responder group link is primarily for Kenya, although we've had a lot of other firefighters joining that WhatsApp group beyond Kenya. So feel free to use that. That group is frequently posted by AFM, but AFM does not own that group. None of the WhatsApp groups are specifically AFM at this point. So you'll see a variety of other topics. We want those to be shared with folks across the world. I saw the link for the request for trainings. It's just africafiremission.org, and you'll go to resources once you're on the web page. I don't want to, we could list out all of the links here, but it's actually going to be easiest if you just simply go to africafiremission.org and identify resources and find the information from there. Specifically, Mike also shared in the chat there the 2023 Google Drive and the link for the 2024 Google Drive as well, where those trainings will be. All right. So questions, go ahead. Moses, did you have a question or you're just unmuted? Okay. Great. Anyone with any questions or comments? Other information or resources to share? The moment here. Any specific question? Right. We'll provide just a little bit more, just a couple of things that are coming in terms of face-to-face trainings this year. AFM is going to be working with the FCT Fire Service in Nigeria in January. We'll be working in Malawi. We're working on finalizing our dates with our partners there in June of 2024. And then also back in Kenya in November. Additionally, in Kenya this year, we are going to be having
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. In addition to that, in Kenya this year, we're going to have a team in September that'll be working in the Mathare Valley. And our hope for that trip is that we'll be able to have some Kenyan firefighters come alongside of us for that training as we work in some specific schools and do some hands-on, almost like an internship on community fire prevention. So we're really looking forward to that opportunity as well. The online, somebody asked about the online training website I mentioned before. Let me grab those links for you. A couple of those are tricky. One of them is firehero.org, firehero.org. And the other one, you can, again, find any of these links on our networking posts, on our networking page on Facebook, but let me see if I can grab this link for you real quick for Lion. It's lionprotects.com, and then it's the Lion Fire Academy PPE maintenance training. And I am probably not going to be able to drop that link here. But what we'll do is we'll add, I mentioned those technology problems for myself today. But if you join our networking group, you'll see that link there. And then if you the Lion Protects, it looks like Mike's trying to look it up. I'm having just the technology issues of the day. So see if I can find that for you. In the meantime, any other questions or comments? Online training requests that you're hoping for this year? What we want. Yeah, I can add those links on the Kenya responders groups. That's no problem. Great idea. On the Lion Protects one, there are a couple that are trainings that they have that they charge for. And then there's also some free training. So you will have to kind of look around a little bit to find the right ones. It's great. Other questions? Feel free to unmute yourself. EMT refresher with certification. Yeah, we've had a lot of discussions and requests for that. Thanks for that, Dennis. I know in Kenya, especially, we're looking at how we can continue to support KCEMT in those trainings, and especially some refreshers for instructors and EMS. So that's definitely something that we're looking at. And I am hoping that we'll continue to have more EMS trainings available. And what that would look like is us needing to have a few more volunteers where we could offer EMS training on a different day of the week. And kind of separate that out from the fire training. So what we're finding is they're both needs and they're two different needs. And so we really want to be able to look at how we can support that. So thank you for that. Excellent. Well, thank you so much for joining today. Thanks for everything that you do as a first responder to support emergency services. I'm going to stick around for tea time today. I'm hoping Richard and Errol might help lead that today as well. Good to see you guys here. So thank you. Thanks for what you do. I know it's hard work. I know you don't hear it from your communities enough, but we're so grateful for you and grateful for the work that you do to protect your communities. So with that, I'm going to pass it back to Mike and we'll transition to a short tea time.
Thanks, everyone, and thanks, Nancy, for taking the time out of your busy schedule to join us for today's training as well. And we all appreciate all the hard work that you put into making this organization what it is and the outreach that we get. And thank you to all of you that participated. I invite you to invite your friends, spread the word. We do have that new registration link. We'll get our numbers back up here over the next few weeks, so be sure to tell everyone to go to africafiremission.org, go to that training resources page and find that registration link for these Wednesday training sessions. With that, we're going to end the formal part of today's training. Thank you all, and I hope to see you all again next week.